dragons! We're doomed!
Keep them
Alright, nerds, this ends now!
Trust me, this is the only zombie game or post-apocalyptic game that I have ever played that I felt like I can beat and actually have fun. Looking at you, Days Gone. But we're not talking about Days Gone. We're talking about Sunset Overdrive today. So let's get to it. Hit it! Sunset Overdrive is an action-adventure post-apocalyptic video game exclusive for Xbox One. It was released by Insomniac Games on October 28, 2014 with heavily positive reviews. The game is about the character that you create set in the fictional city of Sunset City 2027. Your character has to fight mutated humans known as OD and survive the apocalypse. Your character can wall run, bounce on objects, zip line, and grind on rails. You also have a pretty bizarre but also unique weapons as the game progresses. The story is pretty unique and silly as well. Spoiler alert if you haven't played the game yet, but instead of myself telling the story, I have the hero himself to recall the events of the game, because this is his story and he wants to tell. So let me introduce you to the hero, Main Jones. Thank you, Burstlimit Jones, and no, I don't sound like you. July 13th, 2027. The night was like any other night. I was a physical employee as a custodial professional. I hated that fucking job. Fisco was having a release party of their new energy drink, Overcharge. Then from out of nowhere, people started to turn mutants, called the OD. I was freaking the fuck out, so I did the most logical thing. I ran home and hid out for 17 days. The OD broke into my apartment, but I was saved by a badass named Walter. He was an ex-Fisco head of security. 2 years prior, himself and his team were replaced by Fisco technology. To keep the people of Sunset City from speaking out against Fisco, they put us in quarantine with no way out of leaving the city. Walter puts me through a series of tests to make sure I'm fit for survival of the fittest. Of course I passed, because it's my story. He takes me to the base of operations, to where I meet a guy named Floyd. He's an ex-Fisco scientist that was against the mass production of Overcharge due to not going through health regulations. But like Walter, he was fired. Walter was making a plan to get us out of the city, but we were attacked by some assholes called themselves the Scabs. After we took care of them, we tried to fix the plane, but we were almost killed by OD. But I managed to save our asses, but we lost the plane and Walter was pissed. To redeem myself, Floyd sent me to the docks to find a propeller to help rebuild the plane, but ended up saving a nerd in distress. His name is Sam, and he's not as annoying as he's perceived to be, but he offers to help me build a propeller. He takes me to meet his fellow but lazy rich colleagues, the Oxfords. After doing a series of bullshit errands to get the smart but lazy entitled sums of, you know, whatever, never mind, because this is only draw out the story and help you build your arsenal over time. The Oxfords finally managed to build a 3D printer, and it was going to take a few hours or so, or missions, depending on how you put it. The propeller had been built, and myself and Walter attempt to leave the city and expose Fisco, but there was an invisible wall preventing us from leaving. The old man pushed me out into the river before the crashes and killed him. Later, I meet with the troop Bushido, a bunch of scouts living at a museum. I had to set out to find their leader, Bill Crane, that had disappeared weeks prior by one of his troops, Norton. Rather than take his punishment like a man, Norton drakes one of the overcharge and mutates into a Norton dragon. And as fun as was riding and grinding on the dragon's back, I had to slay it. Bill Crane makes a schematic of a boat so I can sell out the city for help. I go and meet these LARPers that seriously need some therapy, and they had met their king and had fallen ill. I had to do a lot of missions to get him to feel better. Then after that, we stormed the Scab's headquarters, and we took out King Scab that really hates nerds. The LARPers built the boat, and I was home free out of the city until my friends were being attacked by Fisco bots, so I had to go back and save them. The time had come for them to take the fight to Fisco, due to Sam informing myself that Fisco has a super weapon to destroy the city with everyone in it. We need to break into it, not without the help of the Las Carritas. I had to gain the favor of them by throwing a benefit concert from the kids, but I had to keep the concert safe from the OD. Damn, why am I not dead yet? Myself and the all other factions band together and stormed Fisco and kept them busy while Sam shuts down the super weapon. Things got a little complicated on doing so. I did the most coolest thing ever and launched a big bottle of overcharge into the physical building, destroying it, and also died in the process. I didn't like that ending, so I rewind time and found out that the weapon was the building the whole time. So I managed to destroy it in time. Everything was okay, celebrated with milk and crackers, but everything is not all shits and giggles. Fisco's computers activated a protocol, sending if not thousands of helicopters full of overcharge to the cause to a full international apocalypse. God, I hope there's a sequel. You know, not for the sake of fun or my enjoyment and make Insomniac Games a ton of money, but to save the world. Yeah, no selfish motivations here. Okay, I'm going to turn it back to Burstlimit before I get myself canceled. It seems the apocalypse brings out the best and worst in people. The Scavs and Fisco are prime examples of the worst. The Scavs are looters and real aggressive, as they will capture and kill other human survivors. In the beginning, they are hard to take down with lack of weapons, but as soon as you level up more, and a couple of mines and other explosives, can easily take them out. The Fisco bots were very unnecessary to protect Fisco's reputation. If their head scientist Floyd at the time voted against mass producing it without going through proper health regulations, I mean, who in the hell are they competing with in this reality? Monsters must be big as Apple or Disney. That's speculation. But anyway, the factors that helped took down Fisco in the city were either, hey, we got to survive no matter what, to, whatever, mainly with the Oxfords. Main, our hero, started in the story that his life didn't begin until the end of the world. He may have been speaking figuratively due to it was contained inside the city. Sometimes he came off as an asshole, but what truly developed his character is when he had the chance to leave the city, or when his friends were in trouble, he came to their aid, no questions asked. The mutants in the game were not as hard to fight. The poppers were like suicide bombers, general in any Call of Duty video games. The Herkers are big and hulky and like to throw trash at you. The blowers mainly do long range attacks by shooting poison in your direction, but you could easily take them out with your melee weapons. Spawners create more regular OD, so it's better if you take them out first before, because if not, you will be overwhelmed by hordes of enemies. The Gunkers has the ability to able to freeze everything in their path, so you should use flames to destroy them like mines or bombs. The Mugger is an unpredictable kind of OD. It climbs walls and jumps around until it's ready to strike. So I suggest using every weapon in your arsenal, in my humble opinion. The Winger is the one that you don't want to be in an isolated spot when fighting. It's because you'll die within a few minutes. But in the end, I really liked Sunset Overdrive, and I really hope for a sequel in the next couple of years, even though it came out back in 2014. But I have high hopes because Insomniac the creator says that there is nothing stopping them from making a sequel, and said that he'll love to return to the series. But I want to thank the hero of Sunset Overdrive, Main Jones, for telling the story. But if you want a video game, movie, comic book, anime, or special video idea, let me know in the comments or email me. Hey, Burstlimit Jones, I got a movie for you to review. How about 50 Shades of... Okay, anyone besides him? Let me know in the comments and email like I said. But like always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you all next time.